We are fortunate enough to have a lot of members of the Biden administration visit the state of Hawaii, and some of them spend some time on the neighbor islands. But I have to say that Pete knows what he doesn't know. He really is one of the smartest humans I've ever met. But the humility with which he practiced saying "Mono Pi'ilani," the humility with which what are the challenges that you're facing? He's one of us. He's for us. And so it is really my honor and my pleasure to introduce my friend, but also all of our friends, the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg.
Well, thanks very much, Brian. You know this, but you have an extraordinary delegation in Senator Schatz and Senator Hirono. Brian Schatz is somebody who has been a partner from the get-go in what we were trying to do, both to benefit Hawaii and to benefit the entire country when it comes to our transportation. He's become a true friend, and I would be saying that even if he were not chairing the subcommittee that controls the purse strings for my department. Likewise, Senator Hirono, who is a great believer in many things that we care about, from making the passenger experience better for airline passengers to empowering women in construction and transportation, and most importantly, for the purposes of today's discussion, their support and support of Representative Case and so many others are the reason we're able to celebrate this good news. Senator Hirono mentioned to me just a moment ago that elements of this project were first conceived in the 1980s. So was I. And so it really got me thinking about what it means to have been waiting for so long, to have the vision but not the funding. And now we do. And that wasn't just going to happen without their support and, of course, without President Biden's leadership. We couldn't have gotten to this moment, but here we are. So I'm very thankful for your federal delegation. I'm so thankful to the workers whose hands move the goods that America counts on. I think we're doing a better job as a country than we were before COVID of realizing what supply chains are, not just for those of us who live and breathe this, but for ordinary Americans. But we still have more work to do to make that job less thankless. So please know, Brandon, please share with everybody you work with that you have the thanks of this administration, of our president, of someone like me, and of so many of us for what it takes to keep things moving. I want to recognize the state of Hawaii, the governor, who I've had many good conversations with. He's ironically in Washington while I'm here at a gathering of governors. But with Ed Sniffen and the fantastic staff at the Hawaii DOT, we have a partner in delivering. So we're so glad to be with you and your team. And I want to thank Randy and everybody who is part of making this port what it is, because everybody counts on it, whether they realize it or not. And Mayor, thank you for your leadership. It was great to be with you and the other mayors earlier today, and learned a great deal. Let me thank Kau Kehoa and Kekoa, sorry. I want to say just what an honor, what a humbling honor it was to be part of the blessing associated with this project. I think that has helped us to remember the depth of meaning that is associated with what we do when we undertake to make future generations better off. Some projects are so big that I like to call them the cathedrals of our infrastructure, and I don't say that just because it's a poetic way to talk about something big. I say that because we know that sometimes those who first conceive a project, the hands that lay the cornerstone, aren't those that are there to celebrate the capstone, and that's how it is with projects like this. And so I admire the attention to the multi-generational meaning of great projects, and in that spirit, let this port be a blessing for the people of Hawaii for generations to come. We took a very informative tour of the work underway on the new Kapalama container terminal, and before I remark on the resiliency project that we're celebrating today, I just want to recognize everybody for getting this enormous and vital new terminal off the ground and congratulate you on that work. As has been noted here, 85% of the goods used in Hawaii are imported, everything from food to electronics to construction materials, and almost all of them come through Honolulu Harbor first. So it's fair to say that the economy and the well-being of the people of Hawaii are deeply connected to the success and the durability and the sustainability of this port. I even saw an article that summed it up very well by simply saying, Honolulu's port cannot fail. And yet, we know the threats to the operations and the people here. We know that climate change is upon us. It is not theoretical, and sea levels are rising here in a way that, that dovetails with the extreme weather events that we're experiencing. They're becoming more frequent and more extreme. And as we saw during COVID, any disruption to any of our supply chains has a direct and tangible effect on people's lives and on the cost of goods, which is especially challenging in an island state. Fortunately, leaders here had a forward-looking plan to prevent climate disruptions at this new terminal and to keep goods moving smoothly. The KCT Green project will deliver zero-emission cranes, smarter gate technologies, a self-sufficient microgrid system powered by wind and solar energy, all of which combine to make this port more resilient, be able to better withstand disasters and threats, and continue operating during extreme weather. So it's about ensuring that Hawaii can continue to move goods more efficiently across the state, but also the benefits will be felt right here in this community, including in the air that we're breathing. These ports, through that modernized gate system, will be able to remove truck traffic from local roads, reducing pollution, affecting a historically overburdened community that lives in the vicinity of this port, and reducing congestion. And the project has an eye to the future with those funds to develop additional port resiliency and electrification plans to continue adapting to climate conditions. So we're proud to be with you, helping to protect this excellent new terminal project against supply chain disruptions and protecting people in Hawaii against the price spikes that would come with such disruption. So it's with that in mind, on behalf of the Biden-Harris administration, that I want to congratulate you for the $40 million award that was announced in 2022, and we are so proud to join you to bless the start of this work here today. It's truly a great day for Hawaii and a great day for American infrastructure. If you indulge me, I want to take a moment to just come back to that thought that this port cannot fail, because it gets me thinking about the broader picture and uniqueness of the transportation infrastructure in this place, where the very same geographic blessings that make this land what it is also often mean that there is no other option when a piece of critical infrastructure fails. But because of the vision of your senators, representatives, your governor, your local leaders, and President Biden, project by project, we're building a more resilient, safe, and efficient transportation system for the entire state. Yesterday, as was mentioned, I was able to visit the Honolulu Highway in Maui, which faces increasing erosion and swells that are now overtopping the road dozens of times per year, which can cut people from the West Maui communities off from the rest of the island. So we're proud to award funding to help the county relocate a portion of that highway farther away from the coastline to make it more resilient against climate change and keep that critical connection open. After we gather today, I'll be visiting the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, not only because I have a flight to catch, but because we're excited to see the work that's going on there. We will be looking at the funding that we just announced to rehabilitate the Terminal 2 roadway for the Wiki Wiki bus, to improve the electrical work going on in the Diamond Head Concourse and more. And last month at 2 aging bridges along the Hamakua coast off the island of Hawaii, where recurring closures are causing detours that can be over 200 miles long, which is almost unthinkable where I come from. We've been able to award funding to help rehabilitate those bridges so that they can withstand extreme weather and keep people and goods moving safely. So I just want to offer those different examples that are among dozens of examples in which leaders here, in partnership with our administration, have developed solutions that are going to make a difference for so many people, that are now possible because of that bipartisan infrastructure law that your senators and representatives were so instrumental in passing. We're now seeing the dirt flying. I think we'll be seeing more ribbon cuttings, more leis being untied, more celebrations of the work that we're doing, and the good paying jobs that come with it, which is a big part of why we were so excited about this. It is extraordinary for me to be in a place that, as Brian noted, is by some measures could be considered the most isolated, heavily populated place in the world, and yet everything that I've seen, everything I've felt, everything we've been exposed to here has been about connection. The fact that these communities view even the ocean as something that does not divide but connects just speaks so poetically to what transportation is all about. And it's been an honor to be with you to see firsthand what we can do to make transportation better for the future. thanks again very much for the chance to join you. Congratulations on this project, this funding, and everything we're going to do together going forward with those resources from the infrastructure law. And thank you for the warm welcome to Hawaii. Thanks very much. I think we have time for a couple of questions from reporters. If there are any, my colleague Alexander from our office can quarterback the Q&A.
Yeah, we'll start with Diane here.
Okay.
Hi, Diane. I just wanted to know, how was it riding rail today?
You know, I'm really glad we had the opportunity to do that. First of all, it's a remarkable system, building on some of the latest technology, taking advantage of the lessons of decades of transit development around the world. We were very pro-transit administration because we know what transit can mean, not just as a matter of getting from point A to point B, but to support affordability in places that are pressed for affordability. It can even be part of addressing housing. I know housing and transportation are sometimes talked about separately, but being able to live in a place that you can afford is largely connected to whether that place has an affordable, convenient way to get to where you work. And transit is a big part of that. I know it took a lot of work, a lot of problem solving, certainly a lot of phone calls to me from your senators to help unstick some of the issues that stood in the way of this funding being released. But what I see now is enormous opportunity, and there's nothing like actually experiencing it. As much as that's true for me as a policymaker, I think it's that much more true for residents here, where I think seeing is believing, and being able to actually experience that transit system, especially as it adds stops and stations, will add to the enthusiasm about what that project can deliver.
Marcel Honore with Honolulu Civil Beat. The comment you just made about this port being essentially too big to fail, I was wondering if there were any conversations, even just beyond this terminal in this project, but ways to make this port more resilient against climate change, those issues as a whole. I think of the channel entry, the one 500-foot wide entry there, or the aging gantries and the lower pier on the other side of this. And beyond what's happening at this terminal, ways to better protect the port as a whole.
Yeah, this was a topic of conversations. We took a harbor tour on a boat out and saw the entry, and then saw some of the vulnerabilities that exist at the harbor entrance too. So I fully expect that there will be more ideas, projects, and visions that will stack on top of the resiliency gains that we're going to score through the support for electrification, the elevation above sea level, and some of the other things that come with this specific phase of the project. I know there's already another phase in the works, and more will come, and we'll be here to support it. We have the Port Infrastructure Development Program, among others, that can really make a difference for infrastructure resiliency. Matter of fact, for the first time ever, we have the Protect program, which is specifically about resilience for American infrastructure, one of many things in that bipartisan infrastructure law that we're so proud of. Now, we don't sit in the headquarters in Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. and think up the projects. The ideas don't come from Washington. They don't have to. The point is that more of the funding should. But we know the ideas are going to come from right here in the Port of Honolulu. And we stand ready to engage and hopefully support as many of those visions as we can to make operations here more sustainable and resilient for the future.
Any other questions? Right.
Thank you again. It's an honor to be with you.